Okay. So in this class today, I would like to talk about JavaScript first of all. JavaScript. So we'll start with JavaScript arrays. Okay. So they will be very handy. So we have some methods and all in JavaScript which you need to know. Let me just do this here. Here it is. It's almost 20 minutes. The network in GoToMeeting has trouble here. Software net issue. GoToMeeting also has got an issue. So we plan something. Almighty has got some other plans. Okay. So let's work with the arrays. Okay. So we'll work with JavaScript arrays today and its methods. Okay. Yes. So let me just define the class test arrays. Okay. So yeah, when we talk about arrays, yes. So these are JavaScript arrays are also similar to the arrays which you saw in most of the other language. Yeah, but let's see how to create an array here using JavaScript. See, I can create an array this way, something like this: names, Hari, Raj, Kumar, Hani. This way, we got an array. We can create an array here. You see, now we have three elements in this array. Now, how do we iterate through the arrays? You see, the elements in the array, they are stored based on the index values itself. The index starts with 0 here. How do we iterate through the array? Yes. So let's see. So we can use a for loop here. The way we do it in Java. So you'll find that the syntax of this for loop is also almost similar to the syntax of Java for loop. See, so where is the keyword? To declare a variable here, you can declare a variable. We have declaration part, condition checking. You see, to find the length of the array, you can use this property length here. The length property holds the size of that array. Yes, the length property here, it holds the size of the array. Yes. So now let's try to print this elements and try to print this elements here. See, we got the element. So unlike your Java arrays or other language arrays, there is one difference which you'll notice here. What is the difference? What you'll find? Can you people tell me? That's right. You see, unlike other arrays, basic other languages where we specify the data type details, what type of elements you want to store in the array, you'll specify. But here, there is nothing like that. So this arrays can take anything, any element. So not a problem. This arrays will be able to take any elements here without any issues. Here, next, to work with the arrays, you have a set of methods here. Okay. Yes. Okay. What are the methods? Let's see. So the methods, for example, you have a method called as pop. Okay. Yes. Names dot. You can do this pop. We call this pop method. You have content assist also here in the Eclipse. Okay. The way you write Java code, so you can do the same thing here as well. You got content assist. So the pop method, it will remove the last element from the from that array. So what is the last element here, by the way? So the last one is anil. So that element will be removed if you call pop method. Okay. So I'll show you. You see, this time it's not displaying that last element. It won't display the Kumar. Sorry, Anil, not Kumar. It's not displaying Anil here. So it is removed. So That is what pop method does. It's predefined method, okay? Yes, it's predefined method. Next, we got push method also. Push method. So you can add an element using push. Okay, you can add an element using push. Yes. It's a Steve. So now what will be the index of this method? The index of this method. See, I mean, where exactly this element will be added? The element will be added at the end here. Okay. Um, yeah, but the thing is here, you'll find that this array is not a stack, but you got this methods here. Okay. This array is not a stack array. But the thing is, yeah, the methods are same. So you see, pop will remove the last element here, not from the top of the array. Now there is some, we don't have such concept here. The elements are not stored the way they are stored in the stack. Okay, the array, their index space. The first element will be at index 1, second one 0. It starts with 0 always. Okay, so here now this element will be added at what index? At the end of this array now. End of the array means 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, it starts.
Red or length.
So it will be at 0th index. Sorry, 4th index. The array starts with 0th index, right? So the first element is at 0th index, second one is 1, third one is 2, fourth one is 3, and this will be the fourth one. The index of this element will be 4. Yeah. So let's try to run this code. You see, Steve is added to the last. Yes, to the end of this array. Next, similarly here we got methods like shift, names dot shift. So what this shift method does? Shift method removes the first element, okay, from the from this array. The first element is Harry, so that element will be removed. So now at 0th index we'll have which element then? At 0th index now we'll have Raj. Okay, let's see. Except Harry, you'll find all other elements. Sorry, we didn't save this code. You see, it starts with Raj now. Okay. Next, we got unshift also. Unshift. Shift, what it did, it removed the first element. That is what it does. It did. You have unshift. Names dot unshift. Now shall pass Steve. So what this unshift does here, you see, unshift adds a new element. And what it does basically, it returns that old element, I can say. Okay, yes, let's read this element first of all. I'll show you. Let's see, I'm adding Steve. So where it will be added in the beginning of the array now. Okay, it adds it to the beginning. So Steve is added here. Okay, after Steve, now we have Harry. Next, for suppose you want to delete an element at a specified index. You want to delete an element at a specified index. Then what to do? If you want to delete the element at a specified index, simply you can do this. Delete names of, let's say, 1. Okay. Here, now which element will be deleted? The element which is at index 1. Now you see that Raj will be removed. Let's see. So Raj is not there. And have you noticed it? It says undefined in that place. So that means what we can understand here. We try to remove the element from the middle. The elements are not shifted. Okay. The array is not reconstructed here. Yes. Array is not reconstructed. So it remains like that. Yes. Okay. Next, let's say we have two arrays. We got two arrays. I got another array, something like this. The first one, the second one is names 2, and the elements are something like this. Let's say Rachel, Harika. Let's say John. So these are the three elements which you got in the second array. Now I want to add the elements of the second array to the first array. I'm sorry. Yeah, I want to add the elements of the second array to the first array here. So what to do? So in this case, you know what, here we can use merge method for this purpose. Merge. Merging means, oh sorry, concatenate. We have this method called as concat. Now, can I say that, you see what we are doing, we are calling this concat method. I'm using that first array reference to call this concat method, and I'm passing second array reference here to this concat method. Yes. Now, can I say that in the first array, we got those elements, all the elements of the second, sorry, in the first array, can I say that we have second array elements also? What do you think? In the first array, can I say that we got second array elements also? Actually, let's see, I'll print it. Oops, in the first array we have the same elements. And what happened to the second array elements? They are not added here. Actually, the concat method, what it does is it will read the elements of these two arrays, and it creates a new array, and it will add those elements to that array. So concat method returns an array reference intern again. Let's say names 3. So you'll get a third array intern. So in that array, you'll have all these elements. Okay. So the concat method will return another array now by merging the elements of these two arrays. Yes. So here, let's try to read the elements from that third array. Okay. Yes. You see, you got all the elements from the third array. Okay. Now, let's move on. What are the other methods which you got here? We got slice method here. Okay. We got slice method. Let me show you people the slice method. Now we got this array, right? That new array. What I'll do here, on this new array, I will call this slice method, slice of, let's say, 3. So what happens if I do this slice of 3 or slice of 2, let's say? So anyone got any idea what the slice of 2 will do?
Makes a copy of an array.
It makes a copy of an array. Just copy. So actually here, the slice method, no. What it does is, now we have a new array. What is the size of the new array? Can you people tell me? What do you think? What is the size of this new array? The new array size is 7, right? Now we have the elements in the new array starting from index 0 to 6. So when you call the slice method and pass the index value this way, so what it does is basically here, it reads the elements from index 2 and creates a new array. Okay, it creates a new array and it reads the elements from index 2 and will store that elements into that new array. It creates a new array and copies the elements from index 2 here. It copies, but not the entire array, but from that particular index which we are specifying here. Okay. Yes. Now, so let's try to okay, read that new array reference which you got here. See names 4, let's say. Now I'll display the elements of names 4. Yes, names 4. Now what happened? You got the elements from Kumar here. If you can check this. So Kumar means, you see, Kumar is at which index from here. So Harry and Raj is gone. I mean, from the third array. So the two elements are not read. Yes. So is it clear for you people, all of you? What slice is doing here? So it copies part of an array. If you want to copy the part of an array or read the array partially from a specific index, okay, we can read the elements from the array from a specific index here. Yes. Okay. Next, we got other methods like very handy methods like sort. For sorting also you have the elements here. Oh, sorry, methods here. For sorting also you got the methods here. Okay. Yes. So for example, here after reading the elements, okay, they're not sorted, right? So let's check them. If they are sorted, so first element should be Anil, followed by John, Harika, and so on, right? Yes. So I would like to sort these elements. So what to do? You see, on this array, call this sort method. On this array, call the sort method here. Yes. Oops, sorry, names 4. Names 4 dot sort. Now you see, the elements are sorted. Okay. Yeah. So this way, it is possible to sort the elements here. Yes. Next, you have a method to sort the elements in the reverse also. Okay, in the reverse order. We got a method to sort the elements in the reverse order also. You can do this. Names dot names 4 dot reverse. Sorting the elements in the reverse order. Yeah, we can do this. Just a second. Oh, sorry. First you have to call the sort method. Call the sort. Yeah. Otherwise, it won't return the elements in the reverse order. Okay. Yeah. First sort the elements and then call the reverse method. So it will give you the elements which are sorted in the reverse now. Yes. That is what it does. Okay. So next, What else we have? Just a minute. Yeah. So meanwhile, anyone got any questions in this regard? Anyone got any questions? I'm expecting one question from you people actually. No? Yeah, that's right. That is what it does. Still, any other questions? I'm expecting one more question. No one is asking me. I thought someone will ask me this question. Okay. So, in slice, how to get first part? No, actually, what this method is doing, it is just reading the elements from the index which you have specified. That's it. So, and it is returning the elements by storing them into a new array. So, existing array, it is not doing anything to it. Okay, the existing array, it does not, it's not modified in any ways. So, if you want to read the elements that way, you can use another method called as splice. Okay, uh, splice also what it does is basically it removes the elements. It just simply removes the elements, but it won't, put a new one. Yeah. So in that case, as of now, there is no method here in the arrays. Okay. So for reading the elements from one index to another index, okay, there is nothing like that. So what you can do is you can just use this methods, existing methods, kind of work around. That's it. There is no direct method for it to read the elements from one index to another index. Yeah. Next, what you have to do is just copy the elements from that index. So now we have to write the logic for that. Yeah. So I was expecting a doubt here. What is my doubt? I'll tell you. For suppose the elements of my array are objects, user defined objects, rather than just values like strings and all. Okay. Yes. So let me just create another page here. It's a test array objects .html. So what I'll do here, I will create an array which can take user-defined objects, something like the script, a person equal to. So in the last class, you people saw how to create an object, JavaScript object, right? Yes, let's say person has got first name, say ID, say name, hmm, the age, let's say. Okay, so now these are the elements. How many elements we got in the array? Can you people tell me?
3 elements.
Three elements. Three person objects are there in this array. Now I want to sort these elements the way we did it in Java. User defined objects. How will you sort them? What you're supposed to do here? Yes. Yes. If the elements are user defined objects, then how will you sort them? That's my question. Here's an example.
In sort method, we can write functional logic.
In the sort method, we can write that logic. In the sort method, yeah, but we are not sorting, we are not writing that logic to sort the elements, right? So the sort method has got that logic. But how do we ask the sort method to compare the elements based on some property? Yes. Now we have to sort these elements based on some property, right? Based on ID, name, or age, whatever it is. So now the elements have to be sorted based on the properties, definitely. So, but by default, okay, let me just call the sort method. Let's see what it does. Okay, I will call the sort method on the persons. Let's see what it does. And then I'll try to read the elements. If I'll declare a variable, something like this, initialize it to 0, p less than percent dot, what happened? I'm not getting content resist here. Percent of length, p plus plus, no document dot write, sorry, percent dot, sorry, percent of p dot, let's say, id plus person name persons of p dot age. That's it. Let's see. Oops, I'm sorry. I'm executing wrong page. So where is this page created actually? Java project. Why it went into Java project? Sorry. Okay. That's the reason why it was not giving content as it said here. Oh wait, wait. Meta folder. Okay. Yeah, remove it. So let me just add a line break. You can check this. So did the sort method sort these elements? What do you people think?
No, it didn't, sir.
So it's not doing it, right? So what to do then?
We need to compare.
So how? What to do? What are we supposed to do? So here, in this case, actually the sort method, it takes a function reference in which through which you can provide that logic. Okay. Sort method actually, sort method actually, no, sort method itself will take a function. In that function, you can write that sorting logic and you can pass it here. Yes, that is what we can do. So this way we can define an anonymous function. See, for this function there is no name. So this function should return it should take parameters. So what should be the parameters here? Based on which property you have, it has to take the objects as inputs here. Okay, it should take that object references as input. Let's say object 1, comma, object 2. At a time, the sort method should be able to compare two objects. So return here, this function should compare that objects based on which property. Now we have to specify the property here. Okay, so based on which property you want to compare them. So let me just do this. If obj1 dot id greater than obj2 dot id, uh, let's just try to return this one. I'm just checking this here. Obj1, sorry, less than obj2 dot id. So let me just make it return -1 and that's 0. Yes. I'm passing that logic here. Now let's see based on the IDs. Yeah. You see, now what happens here? It is comparing the objects based on the ID. So this way, the way we used to implement a compare method, right? So if first object is greater than the second object, return 1. If the first object is less than second object, return -1. The same thing, you can also do the same. It is possible here. So that is what I'm doing here. Okay. So similarly, you can try comparing the objects based on the name. You can try comparing the objects based on the name. Yes. So you got this point, all of you, what we are doing here. The sort method is taking anonymous function in which you got that comparison logic here for comparing these objects. Yes. So this is how you can supply the comparison logic. So that sort method will compare the objects based on the comparison logic now. So is this point clear? Any questions in this regard? You can try using names. Strings map. How to compare strings, you'll get to know about it. I will leave it to you people. Yes. Okay, fine. Give me 1 minute, please. Just a minute. Couple of minutes actually. I'm sorry. Couple of minutes. Yeah, I'm sorry. So this is about arrays. Now let's move on. Here, let's see how to work with dates, date objects. So another most common thing which you need here on the client side, yeah, arrays always will be dealing with the data here. You will get some data from the server which you need to print it. So you will be dealing with arrays always to handle the data and all. Sorry, there is some disturbance in the background. A lot of construction work is going on here. So the next thing, date handling dates is also most common thing which we'll be doing here. Okay, let's see how to work with the dates in JavaScript. Test date.html. So I can do this. Let's say today equal to new date. What happens if I do this? A date object is created. In that date object, the current system date and time are stored. The current system date and time are stored here in the date object. So that is what happens with date object. Now let's try to display this. Document dot write today. So next, for example, what if I want to read the year details, month details, something like that? Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. We have methods for that. But you see, as of now, we are reading only system date. So for suppose, what if I want to store user defined date, a user date here? I want to store a user date. So what to do in that case? Let's see. By default, if you create a date object, the current system date and time will be stored. Now let's do this. So I can do this where DOB date of birth equal to, let's say, new date of, so first year details, second month, third day details. Or else here you can also provide the date details in the other formats also. I'll show you. But first of all, let me just try to display this date right of DOB. Oops, not a number of days. Okay, don't worry. Just take this page, display it in the Chrome, because sometimes what happens is this browser, you cannot trust this browser. It's trying to open this external browser. Okay, so yeah, now you got this browser. You see that internal browser has got some issue, so don't worry about it. Okay, let's say you got this date here. Wednesday, December 11, 2013. Yes, 11, 12. So it's my son's birthday actually. Next,
Your wishes, Mahesh.
no, no, it's not today. The date, which is 11, 12, 13. It was 11th day, 12th month, and here is 13th. We didn't plan anything, so what it happened that he was born on that day. Yes, it's a fancy number. Okay, he's not fancy, he's invincible. Now let's move on. What are the other formats which we can provide here this way? Even the slash works, not a problem. Okay, so you can also do this, still it works. And okay, let me just comment this code for a reference purpose. You can do this slash slash. This format also works. The other format is first day, then month, then month, then year. Even this format works. Okay, even this format works. So, oh, what I did, it should take the second one as It's supposed to take this day, but it is taking as month. That's the reason why you got November here. Tuesday, November. So that means this format basically is month, day, and year actually. Okay, month, day, year. Yes. So we have these are all short dates. We have long dates also. Let's check once. We can also do this where you'll be new date of first month this way, day, and the year. You see, now we got this. Wednesday, December. So this way we can pass the user defined date, I can say. I would like to operate on the state, manipulate the states. So what to do? Now I would like to display the date here in a specific format. What you can do is actually you have methods to read the date details, day details, you know, year details, hour details, everything. Yes, we can do that. So let me just brief you people on those methods here once. Let's check this methods. So dop dot get date, okay, plus slash dop dot get month. Month starts with 0, okay, slash dop dot get full year, okay. So we can read the date, month, and year details here this way. Now let me just run this code. Okay, got this detail 11/11/2013. Should I give the date the same way? Yeah, that's right. Here it will display 11 because the month here, even the previous case also, actually the month here, you'll find that it starts with 0. Month starts with 0. So this is about date. Okay. Next, today I want to talk about HTML DOM. Now you understood how to work with dates, arrays. Okay. HTML DOM. So what is this HTML DOM? That is what you need to know. HTML DOM. DOM stands for Document Object Model. Now it plays a crucial role when working with JavaScript, especially if you want to work with the HTML document elements and all. Okay, in order to work with HTML document elements, yes. It plays a crucial role. It plays a crucial role here. Yes. Is anyone aware of this HTML DOM? Can you people talk about it? When working with HTML documents, HTML pages, JavaScript HTML DOM plays a key role. What is this HTML DOM? Let's see. Understanding HTML DOM is very important for you people to work with HTML documents. Yeah. So HTML DOM, when we talk about HTML DOM, you see, when a web page is loaded, whenever a page is loaded, the browser will load the page. The browser creates a document object model of the page. The browser creates the document object model of the page. You see, what it does immediately, it creates document object model for that page. Whenever the browser loads a HTML page, for that page, for that page, what it does, it creates a document object model. So what is this document object model? See, this document object model that or HTML DOM we say is constructed as a tree of objects. It is nothing but tree of objects, or in fact you can think of it as a tree data structure. Okay, the HTML DOM, you can think of it as a tree data structure, I can say. Yes. Okay, it's a tree data structure. So where you have objects, tree of objects. Yes, it's a tree data structure where nodes are objects. We'll see that. So what is the significance of this HTML DOM and what is this tree of objects all about? Okay, yes. Here, what are these objects? Let's see how a DOM tree looks like. You see, this is the image which you can check here. So this is a DOM tree. You know, each box, that rectangle, each rectangle which you got here, I can say that basically it represents an object. Okay, we call it as a node object. These objects are different types, but for all the objects, the root type is node. Okay, just think of them as objects. Each rectangular box which you got here, you can think of it as an object. You can think of it as an object here. Here, for each element, this object is created. for each element an object is created. You know that? Yes. For example, you see for the entire page, for the entire HTML document, a document object is created. So this rectangle, first rectangle which you got here, that box, it represents the document object, that HTML document, I can say, the complete HTML document here. Okay. Similarly, here we got the root element node object. It's an object here. So it represents HTML elements. Okay. Basically, it represents the HTML element, I can say. Yes. And similarly for body element also, you see, an object is created. For head element also, an object is created. Under the body, again, you have several sub-elements like anchor. Okay. Actually, it depends on the page. Okay. So now it indicates that in that HTML page, there is a header element in the body and the anchor element in the body. For these two elements, appropriately, that element objects are created. Okay. You see, further, it's just a sample example. Okay. Now we have to you have to assume that this HTML page has got a body, a head element. Under the body, you have anchor and header elements. These are the elements which you got in that body. That's it. And in the head element, you have a title element. That's it. And for this anchor tag, we have this reference attribute here. That's it. You see, under the elements, under the anchor, you see, under the anchor element, you have some text. You see, for the text also, an object is created here. Even for the text also, an object is created actually. I hope you people got it. So this way, for every element, not only for elements, even for text also, for attributes also, an object is created here in the DOM tree. You'll find an object here in the DOM tree. Yes. So, and you see these objects are different types. You'll find that here, objects are different types. So what are the different types of objects here? You see, we got a root element object. So one of the objects is root element, and the other one is element. It depends. The rest of the elements under the HTML, they're just elements. We call them as elements here. Yes. They're just elements. And you see, body is an element. For body, anchor, H1, for head, for title, element objects are created. Objects are different types again. You see, we have a document object, we have a root element object, we have an element object, and you see, for attributes, an attribute object is created, and for text, text objects are created. These are all JavaScript objects. Okay. Yes. So this way, objects are created appropriately. Here I can say this way, objects are created appropriately. Yes. And that particular element's data, if it is an element, you see, for example, you have this body element. For body element, element object is created, and in that element object, you got the details about that body element. Similarly, we got attribute object, and this attribute object holds the uh, attribute details, href attribute details here. If we can check this. Okay, I hope you people got it. Yes. First of all, is this point clear, all of you? So what happens when the page is loaded into the browser? what the browser does, it creates this HTML document this way. We call it HTML DOM. It's a tree data structure which contains objects this way. Yes, DOM is a set of objects, you see, which are in this hierarchical format as a tree data structure. You see, now I can say that, yeah, there is a parental relationship between the elements, this objects here, you see. For example, body is a sub-element of HTML, and head is also a sub-element, is a child element of HTML, I can say. And this HTML is a parent element of head and body elements. And you see, head element and body element objects, I can say that they're siblings. They're siblings. They are at the same level, no? We call them as siblings. And similarly, we got anchor element, H1 elements. So these element objects are basically child elements of body element, and they're siblings. So this way, you see, you have a hierarchy here of elements. Yes, even that you need to understand. Okay, so whatever we have discussed so far, is it clear for you people, all of you? If it's clear, can I have yes, please?
Yes, mate.
Okay, hope everyone got it. Now, next we'll see why we need this DOM tree. Okay, why we need this DOM tree? Let's see. So, can someone tell me what is the need for this DOM tree? What is why we need this DOM tree? Anyone got any idea? Okay, element manipulation will be easy. Okay, still any answers? Okay, let's see. To create structure. Okay, actually, the JavaScript gets all its power from the DOM itself. JavaScript gets all its power from this DOM itself, from this DOM tree itself. See, with the document object model means, in short, we are referring to document object model itself. With the document object model, JavaScript gets all the power it needs to create dynamic HTML. Okay, so this DOM itself will help us to create a dynamic HTML page. So you see, JavaScript can change all the HTML elements in the page. JavaScript can change all the HTML attributes also in the page. JavaScript can change CSS styles in the page, can remove existing HTML elements and attributes. Yes, dynamically, JavaScript will be able to remove the existing elements or attributes, whatever you have here. Yes, it is possible. Yeah, you see, JavaScript can also add new HTML elements. JavaScript can react to all existing HTML elements in the page. Yeah, it can react to all the existing HTML events. Okay, what are events, by the way?
Such as on-click event.
Yeah, events means basically if any action is performed by the users, when an action is performed by the users, you see, on element or any changes done to that element, basically we call them as events, right? Actions performed by the users or any changes, significant changes which takes place here for a particular element. So we call them as events. Yes. Here, see, we can respond to those events using this JavaScript, I can say. Next, we can create new events also. It is possible to generate events also. We can do all these things using the DOM with the help of DOM. So, you see, we have a DOM API. We have a DOM API that you need to understand. So, you see, DOM is a worldwide, it's a standard which is supported here by World Wide Web Consortium, I can say. Okay, it is a standard which is supported by World Wide Web Consortium. It's a standard defined by World Wide Web Consortium, W3C we say. So it's a international body which defines standards for your web or internet. Okay. Yes. So you see, you'll find that here this HTML DOM is a standard object model and programming interface for HTML. Yes, it's a programming interface for HTML. So you see, JavaScript uses this DOM. You can think of it as an API. Now, even we have DOM API. Okay, to access the DOM tree. So just now we were talking about this HTML DOM, right? So where we have the details about the elements and all in the DOM tree, we got the details about the elements and all, right? Yes. So with the help of the DOM, you can manipulate that HTML page because that HTML DOM itself represents that page, right? You see, the HTML elements are objects, and you will find that here you'll have properties, methods, everything. You see, the HTML DOM is a standard for how to get or change, add or delete HTML elements. Okay, it defines how we can just read the elements, add the elements, or delete the elements, or change the elements. Yes, HTML DOM itself defines. Sorry, the HTML DOM itself provides that support here, I can say. Yes. Okay. Now, we'll try to work with this HTML DOM. We have discussed enough about this HTML DOM. Let's see how we can access this HTML DOM. Let's see. Okay. Yes. Just already we did use one of this DOM API methods, I can say. What is it? Document dot get element
Right.
by ID. Yeah, that is what you are about to say. Yeah. Document dot get element by ID. Right. Actually, it is one of the methods from the DOM API itself. Okay. Similarly, we have a lot of other methods also. So let's try to inspect these methods. So I will show you people here in the W3 schools. You see this get element by ID method. This method will help you people to obtain a particular element's object, as I told you people. So for each and every element, an element object is created, right? How will you get the reference to that element object? You see, using this method. So you see, we got that reference to that element by calling this method. You see, for example, we have div element. I want to access this div element. For this div element, an element object is created. So how will you get the reference to that element, div element? Using this method get element by ID. You will get that element object reference. Now it is stored in this reference variable. And next you see here in that element object we have inner HTML property. Already I told you people. See, inner HTML is a property. So you see, to read that content of that element, you see the easiest way to get the content of an element is by using inner HTML. So we can do that. Yes. So this way we got methods. Now here you see the document object. So basically the document object, what it does basically, it represents the entire document. Document object actually, it represents the entire document here. Okay, HTML document. And we are very frequently using this. So this object here, document object. You see, we have used this method get element by ID. So similarly, we have get the document object represents the entire HTML. The DOM. It represents the entire HTML DOM. I can say yes. Remember this point. It represents the complete HTML document. So in this document object itself, you'll find this methods get element by tag names. What is the tag name here? Yeah, actually, have you noticed it? For this element, we gave an ID. For suppose, if you want to access the element using the tag name. So what is the tag name of this element? When I say tag name, what does that mean? Yes, here div is a tag name. Similarly, for header element, you see h2. H2 is a tag name. Okay. So button is a tag name. Okay. Yes. Now you see, for example, I have multiple headers. Just imagine. You see, if you want to access a particular element, you can use ID of that element. Okay. For suppose if you want to access multiple elements, okay, uh, of same type with the same tag name. If you want to select multiple or fetch or access multiple elements, then what you will do? Let's see. Before that, just a minute, please. I'm sorry. Just a minute. Yeah, sorry. So now you see, using that get elements by tag name method, we can access all the elements with the same tag name. Okay. Yes. Let's try to do that. Here, now the JavaScript header 1, it's a JavaScript header 2. So these are two headers which you got here. Okay. So now let's try to access those elements. What I'll do is here, I'll call that method document dot get elements by tag name. What is the tag here? H2. Just pass the tag name. So what do you think you'll get? What you'll get here? You'll get array of elements here. Yeah. So in this case, you got two elements, right? Always this method, it returns an array which contains the element objects. Always this method returns an array which contains element objects, I can say. Okay. Let me take that elements array. We call it as elements array. Let's try to sorry, let's try to iterate through that array. Elements array dot length. And then here I'll try to read the inner HTML, means the text content of that header. Okay. How will you read it? Let's see. Elements array of I dot inner HTML. So we add a break statement. So now what happens here? You see, now we are trying to iterate through that elements. At zeroth index, we'll have first header reference. You have in this array. Sorry, you see this method. It returns an array which contains two element objects. The first element object will be header 1 element object. Second element object will be header 2 element object. Yes. Okay. Now we are reading those element objects content here. Yes, that's it. The text content. You know, uh, make sure that you use external browser itself. Don't use this internal browser which you got. Yes. You got two headers. I'll click on this button. That function will be called. Okay. It is on the first header. Oh, actually, you'll get a node list. Just a minute. Yeah, you got the sizes too. You do this. Just a minute. Length properties there. Item. Index of I. You just read this content here. Let's read the node value. Just now I'll call inner HTML. Refresh this page. Actually, what happens is here we are getting a node list. So node list, we have tried. We'll get a node list object, the return type. So node list, you can think of it as a collection here, where you got these elements. Okay, I'm trying to read the elements here first. We are getting this elements of okay, 0 dot inner HTML. Node list 1 dot inner HTML. Okay, let's do this. Indenting the length. So let's follow this method, use this method from the API. First of all, I'll show you. Here, this get elements by ID method, it returns a node list object. So let me just iterate it this way itself. You see, the return type here, if you can check this, you'll find that it's a node list object. Let's take this node list object first of all. No, that means we got a node list object. What is a node list? So node list is actually nothing but you have list of node objects or element nodes in it, I can say. Basically, it contains list of node objects or element objects, I can say. The super type of all these element objects is node type itself. Yes. Here, actually, we should be able to iterate through this node list the way we do with arrays. Okay, so there won't be any problem in this regard. We should be able to do that. But the inner HTML is not working for all the elements. Just a minute. In node list, you can think of it as a kind of array itself. You can iterate through it without any problem. Mm, of my dot. So if it doesn't work, I'll tell you later on what is the problem. Let's see. So we got only one header. So the second header is not printing for some reason. Okay. So I'll tell you what is the problem later on. You'll see that. So actually, this way, what you can do is you can read a list of nodes. You see, the length it is returning to definitely it says. Okay, let me just print the IDs if possible. Just a minute. Dot. You got the element right. It won't allow us to type these elements. Let me just try to print it this way without inner HTML. Okay. Object HTML heading element. We got only one object. Okay, fine. I'll check it later. Next, actually, using these methods, what you can do is you can remove or modify the existing elements, change the content of that existing elements. That is very much possible. Okay, so let me show you people. For example, here, tag name already we are doing it. You see, we got the tag names, right? So it should return array node list object, a list of no element objects. Okay, we should get list of element objects here. So we are taking that reference. The variable holds the reference. So we should not have any problem accessing this way. Okay, we'll see that. What is the problem? I'll let you know later on. So let me just inspect once if there is any, if at all, if there is any error also, I'll let you know. Yes. Now what else we can do here? You know, we can dynamically change the content of an element because we got the access to that element. Yes, we can change the content of that element. Let's try to do that. For example, your first header, right? So I will access that element. We have this method here, get element by ID. Let's access that header one. Header one. You got that element. After getting that element, you see, you got the reference of that element node object. You got the element node object reference. Which element node? Header one element node object reference. Now what I can do is here, it's possible to, to add an attribute. You see, set attribute method is there. Set attribute. Let's say style, or let's say I'll do one thing. So first I'll show you the align element. You see, initially we got this header. I won't align it. It will be aligned to the left. Now what I will do is I will add this attribute. I'm setting an attribute to that element. We are adding an attribute to that element here. And then we'll assign a value to this align attribute. What is its center? That's it. So dynamically we are adding an attribute to that element, header one element, and we're trying to change that element here this way. So let's see the sample page. Now you see it is not aligned to the center, it is to the left, the header here. So what I will do is now I will try to click on this button. That method will be invoked. When that method is called, what happens? That style attribute is added. Can you see what the style attribute is doing here? It is just that it is aligning it. By adding that style attribute, we are just aligning it to the center. We can do that. Okay, we can do that. Yes. Similarly, not only color, you see, sorry, not only aligning it to the center, we'll try to add one more property. So let's say element reference dot set attribute, let's say style. Now the value is background color. Let's add some color here. Okay, let's add some background color. Background color, let's say is blue. So you see we are adding a style attribute here to that element. Dynamically, you see we are modifying that elements. So now we are adding some color. Okay, yes. Let's see. Now to this header, background is added and it is aligned to the center. Okay, so now I'll comment this. Now you see, so we have color. Let's add some text color. You see, I'll make it blue. Okay, the text color, not background color. Now you see it is blue. Let me align it to the center. This way, you see, we can add dynamically change the uh, property values, attribute values of an element. Now it is blue. I would like to change it. So how will you change it here? Again, you can do this element ref dot, sorry, set attribute style color, say blue. Sorry, we make it red. It is blue already. Let me make it red. So it is blue initially. So when this function executes, it changes the color to red. Yes. So click on this button. Now the color has changed to red here. So this way we can add some dynamism. So we can add new elements. How will you add a new element? For suppose if I want to add a new element to this document, okay, I want to add a new element to this document itself. So we can also do that. So just see in the div element, I would like to add a paragraph. Okay, I would like to add a paragraph here. So what you'll do in that case, let's see. First of all, we have to create that paragraph element and then make it a child element of this div element here, which you got. Okay. For that, I will write the code. To create an element, what you can do is here, you can call this method create element. You see paragraph. We can specify the tag name. Okay, call this create element method and pass the tag name to this method here. Pass the tag name to this method. So what happens? You see, an element is created. Which element? Para element, I can say paragraph element is created. The next thing is here, let's add some text to this element. How will you add text to this element now? First of all, you see text is also a node object here. Element of text, node text is also an object here. See, for text also, object is created. What type of object is created? Text node object is created here. Okay, text node object is created. Okay, so we have to create a text node object now. So text node equal to document dot create text node. Let's say here this paragraph is added dynamically when you click button. Yes. Now this is the text node object which you're creating. First element node object is created here, and then text node object is created. So now this text node object, it represents this the text. Now this text we have to add it to that paragraph. We have to make this text node child element of paragraph here. Okay. So what you will do, use that elements reference, para element reference, and just call this method append child. Okay, call this method append child, and you pass this text node object. That's it. Okay. Yes. Next, you see, now this paragraph in turn, I would like to add it to the div element. Okay. So what you will do, you have to access the div element now. see div element reference equal to document dot get element by id. You have to get that element's reference. Which element? Div one element. You got that element's reference, and then now here you'll do this div element reference dot append child, which element para element. That's it. Yeah, we can do this. So this way, now dynamically we are adding an element, a para element, to this div. That is what we are doing here. Let's see. So if I click on this button, so where is the div element? As of now, it's invisible. You see, it has got nothing. It is just under the header. Okay, second header. Click on this button. You see, you got this paragraph. So this paragraph is added dynamically when you click the button. That's it. This way, you can create new elements, add new elements to this document. Also, you can remove the existing elements from this document. Okay, so we can add one more method. One more button to remove the element. Okay, let's do one thing. So let's say we have another function, remove para. Let's say, okay, remove para. Okay, so what to do? You see, I'll define a function here. Function remove para. And first access the div element. After that, I would like to remove that paragraph which you got. We call this remove child. Okay, so you have to pass the reference of the child node. So document dot get element by id. We didn't give any id, right? Okay, just a second. Just let me give an id for this paragraph. We can also add it. So how will we do that? You see, to the paragraph para element dot set attribute id. Let's say para one. You see, I'm giving id to that paragraph. Now what I can do here, you see, we got the id for that paragraph. That attribute is added here. So get element by id para one. So this is a child element which I would like to remove. Or there are other options also. I'll show you. Don't worry. So here we have two buttons. I'll click on the first one. Paragraph is added. Let me click on the second one. The paragraph is removed. Okay. This way we can work with this JavaScript here. Okay. Yes. Is it clear for you people? I want you people to work with DOM. Try to explore the methods which you got in the DOM. Okay, DOM is very important for you people. Okay, it gives you an insight into that HTML, how to manipulate the HTML pages and all dynamic, how to make changes dynamically and all such things. In the next class, I'll be talking about events and Ajax. Let's do one thing. In the flow, I'll conduct one more session tomorrow. Okay, so let's meet tomorrow at same time, or else I'll start half hour early. So that means tomorrow will be Indian time 5 a.m. So by Indian time, we try to calculate the time accordingly and we try to join the class. Okay. Yes. So we'll be talking about events and Ajax. Okay, that is our next class. So once we are done with this Ajax, we can work with the other things accordingly. Yeah. Okay then. That's all for today. Thank you all. Bye bye.
Thank you, Mahesh.
Thank you all. Thank you. Bye bye.